Bonjour à toutes et à tous. Bienvenue
Hello,
ici
welcome to the Vendee Globe press conference in the Palais Brongniart in Paris. Welcome also to those who are watching from the comfort of your own home over the networks. Nothing has changed, although the context is different, of course. Two people on stage with me, Patricia Brochard, who is the president of the Pays de Loire region, and on the screen, Yves Auvinet, who is the president of the Regional Council, president of the Seine-Vendée. So, Yves Auvinet, could you explain, please, why?
Bonjour à toutes et à tous. D'abord,
hello to everybody.
En visio tout simplement, parce que je suis cas contact. J'ai fait un test qui est négatif.
I've done a coronavirus test, which was excellent. I'm in fine health.
Se doit d'être exemplaire.
But wishing to show ourselves as being exemplary, we decided that it was a good idea for us that it was necessary for us to apply the rules and regulations. I am disappointed not to be present in Palais Brongniart in Paris, but we have to comply with the regulations. So this edition that we have been preparing for a long time will be a success. So it's a rather special sort of context this time around. Indeed, I'd like to thank, if you will allow me to, all of you for being here, whether in physical presence or at a distance, remotely, to thank the teams, the sponsors, the media, all of those who contribute to the organization of this fine event. I think specifically of Laura, who is the director of the Vendee Globe, who has to comply with the same health restrictions as I do. So a particular thank you to the partners, Patricia Brochard from Sodebo, Yannick Moreau, who is the mayor of Les Sables d'Olonne and president of the agglomeration, and the president of the Pays de Loire region. Large events major events at the moment obviously require specific provisions. So we hope that we will nevertheless be able, and we are indeed optimistic, that we will be able to put on the event in pretty much the same way as we usually do. It's a human adventure. We want it to remain as a symbol, an important symbol, as this Vendee Globe event underlines our wish to be trusted in the future in spite of the current difficulties. The guard and the caution that we have to take at the moment does nothing to stop us to prevent us from concentrating on making the event what we have always hoped that it would be.
The success of
the Vendee Globe is based on fundamental concepts and notions. Yes, indeed. The Vendee Globe is, above all else, and first of all, a race around the world, single-handed, non-stop, without any assistance. The level of the competition is such that, in fact, actually making it round is really a victory. It's an exploit if you actually make it onto the podium, and winning is a consecration. There's a challenge on all levels. So, an exploit, intrinsic values that are conveyed. Yes, and at the risk of repeating myself, I think we all agree that it's an event. It's something that belongs to and is identified with the region of the Vendée. It's a human adventure, a collective event that cannot be separated from its public.
Aussi, bien évidemment, et vous le savez, en ce qui concerne la course,
as you know also, the race is an adventure that requires audaciousness, audacity, commitment, total commitment. And announcing the person who will be giving the start, someone who is committed in sport, and of course who shares the values of the area and of the event. So, I present Christian Prudhomme, who is the patron of the Vendee Globe 2020, who is in fact the director of the Tour de France, which of course is currently underway. So, the Vendee Globe would be nothing if it were not for its partners. We have Patricia Brochard from Sodibo, partner in 2004, since 2004. So, yes, if you don't mind, I will keep my mask on. I think you can hear me. I would like to extend my thanks to Yves Vendée. In the particular context that there is at the moment, and the economic context we are currently going through, the work, of course, and commitment of all those who have worked on the project, on this race, all of the sponsors who support skippers, and have managed to keep the whole project of the event afloat, and that it actually will be taking place. Of course, to thank the local regional council, and thank the ministry as well, the exchanges that we have had, so that everything can be in place so that the event can actually occur and happen. We've had to make adjustments, of course, to the situation, and the skippers, of course, who have really given all they have to make sure that they can actually participate. Thank you to all of you, and making this event and your commitment so that the event can actually take place. It's a public asset, a fine performance to be here as we are today. Yes, thank you very much. We all have noticed that people's commitment is very strong. Sodibo started in sailing about 20 years ago. It's a story we've been really involved in for the last 20 years. We then moved on to being a partner, and then a main partner, and this is the fifth edition. The values that are important to Sodibo are loyalty, commitment, and they have led us to continue functioning in the way we do with the Vendee Globe. Been sponsoring Thomas Coville since 2004, and we continue contributing and building on what we've already done continuously. It's not a one-off, it's not a one-shot. It's a long-term project, of course. So you started with Thomas Coville in the year 2000, not 2004, sorry. This event, the race, is in fact extraordinary, it's unique, it's inspiring. We can even say it's a sort of non-identified flying object in a certain way. We're expecting perfection, no mistakes, there's no room for mistakes. It's the way that many people, the expectations many people have these days. We really want everything to go perfectly well, but of course we know that the Vendee Globe is the complete opposite, really. Everything is uncertain, there are loads of uncertainties. We have to prepare for the unexpected in a very responsible way, and remaining committed throughout. As individual commitment, of course, but without the teamwork behind the scenes, nothing would happen. So it gives, conveys images and a feeling of a different world. Thank you to the chairman of Sodebo, the chief executive officer of Sodebo. So, the Sables d'Olonne, Yannick Moreau, the mayor of Les Sables d'Olonne, and yes, so the Sables d'Olonne is the historic partner of the host of the Vendee Globe race. Yes, it's a love story basically that has a 30-year-long history. The same honor each time and fervor until now. 167 total have taken part in the Vendee Globe. The 9th edition, there'll be some 200 who will have taken part. So, in single-handed sailing of this type, there are always more men taking part than women, but it does nothing to detract from the adventure, the exploit. This has to be done with a respectful approach. And of course, every time, and this time is no exception, 2020, people come together again. The village has been extended by 40% so that the public can be welcomed and in good conditions. We've put on our best show, as it were, to welcome everybody. There are provisions for children as well. We haven't seen the event for 4 years now, and so we're really looking forward to it. In the month of July, there was a parade of sail in the bay in a sunset. This time, we're going to hang on to you. We're not going to let you go. We will really be savoring the times leading up to the start. We will be present, we will be there. In spite of the difficulties of the current health situation, we'll be there on the channel, on the Côte Sauvage, along the coastline, to share the emotion of the start. That's the way the people in the Vendée region are. Every 4 years, between 2 Vendee Globe, they look forward to it with the same joy. You could come in the month of July and moor up along in Les Sables, and nobody will hold anything against you. Only too pleased to see you. We'd be happy to see you again with the same fervor, the same ardor, the same heart. We really hope to see you very soon in Les Sables d'Olonne. Thank you, Yannick Moreau from Paris. It's the press conference for the 2020 Vendee Globe race with a double presence, as it were, people who are physically present and those who are present remotely, at a distance. The event is an adventure, really a word that we hear again and again. Hello to each and every one of you. I say hello to the mayor and to the president of the Vendee Globe, to all of the partners and to the team that organizes the Vendee Globe. I welcome, of course, all of the journalists present too. This is indeed a very strange time. I wanted this event to have a positive spirit, one that conveys hope. It's an important symbol. It's important for all of the partner companies. I'm very proud that this mythical race, legendary race, is present in the region. There's a strong image, it's a human adventure, and none of this would be possible without the men and women who take part locally and further afield. It's an exploit this time because we have 33 boats lined up on the start, with 6 female competitors this time. It's a sign. There are only 2 women present today, but there you are. There are others who are at a distance. I'd like to underline the fact there are 6 boats flying the flag of local companies, which is an excellent sign of the pride that the local businesses take in having the event in their region. So the Pays de la Loire, the region, Sabadellon, Sodibo is a faithful partner, Ivo Vinis. Yes, I'd like to write all 3 of those who have just spoken. That shows the scope and the extent and how far-reaching the Vendee Globe is, and the commitment of all is evident. They're the main partners, of course. As you can see, the nature of the contributions and the number of partners that we have at our sides. I'd like to thank the IMOCA and the French Sailing Federation. We have very regular contact with them, and they're always extremely courteous. This IMOCA class is, of course, very specific. I'd like to thank, of course, all of the skippers, the boat owners, the sponsors, without whom none of this would be possible, of course. I have like to make a mention too about the volunteers we have, who are many, who are very numerous, and without whom, again, things would be much more complicated. Another special mention, if you don't mind, to the the person who started the race, and to Bruno Retailleau, who has also contributed to making the race, helping the race continue in the way it does. The continuity would not be possible as far as the 9th edition, were it not for these people who continue to support it. So, over the last 30 years, we all have memories, and here are a few images that we're going to present to you, so that those sitting at home watching on the social networks or here.
Depuis 30 ans, le Vendée Globe explore à sa façon les mystères de la mécanique humaine. Pourquoi ces marins, hommes et femmes, se lancent-ils au long cours d'une épreuve sportive unique en son genre? Peut-être qu'en allant autour du monde, ils font aussi le tour d'eux-mêmes. Et nous, les terriens, paradoxalement, plus ils s'éloignent, plus ils nous transportent.
Ah, dans 3 mois 3 mois.
En solitaire, sans escale et sans assistance, on pourrait croire que la course est inhumaine. Or, il n'y a pas plus humain que le Vendée Globe.
Alors, le Père Noël existe! Père Noël! Père Noël! Ciao! Ciao!
Soyons honnêtes, le Vendée Globe n'est pas toujours un cadeau. Il nous révèle que la voile hauturière est un sport de combat. Combat contre soi-même, contre ses adversaires et contre les éléments naturels.
Quand le bateau part au surf à 10 mètres de creux, c'est pas humain. C'est effarant et fascinant à la fois. C'est peut-être aussi pour ça que je suis là.
do wonder why I do it sometimes.
Il arrive que le drame rôde sur le Vendée Globe. Heureusement, l'épreuve a ses miracles et c'est Saint-Bernard des mers du Sud. Loïc Perron sauve Philippe Poupon qui attendait depuis 24 heures. La marine australienne sauve Thierry Dubois et Tony Bullimore. La marine australienne sauve encore Yann Eliès. Sur la longue route du Vendée Globe, le mythique Cap Horn marque la fin des mers hostiles et des sueurs froides.
Hey, on a passé la longitude du Cap Horn. Ça fait.
De Titouan-la-Mazou à Armel-Lecléache, l'épreuve consacre des vainqueurs de plus en plus rapides, sans oublier d'honorer celles et ceux qui en terminent avec le tour de la planète. À son rythme, chacun écrit les pages d'une épopée intime et collective. Le Vendée Globe, c'est le tour d'une vie.
Tout le sel, ou presque, tout le sel du Vendée Globe,
So,
en moins de
it's
3
an idea of the amount of
minutes
salt.
au départ de cette édition
Salty
2020-2021. En tout cas, Yvovine, cette édition,
environment.
c'est déjà celle des
In this
records.
edition, there are records. Yes, indeed.
Christelle l'a précisé tout à l'heure dans son intervention.
As Christelle said earlier in her presentation, 33 boats taking part. It's the largest number of competitors that we've had.
6 femmes qui vont prendre
Particularly interesting that there are 6 women
Nous n'en avions pas
this
en
time.
2016.
We didn't have any in 2016, and so I'm extremely pleased to welcome them to this race. There are also 9 different nationalities represented, including France.
Nous avons tous les ingrédients.
So we have all the ingredients,
Je vois que vous avez à l'écran un certain nombre de statistiques.
and the screen shows a few of these statistics. The required, everything there for a good race. So adventure at sea, and also a bit of a celebrations ashore aussi. You mentioned the village, and so we can see that the brand new village that is opening on the 17th of October 2020. You find out all sorts of information about the skippers, about the Vendée region, 30,000 square meters of village, not reduced in spite of the current health restrictions. There are certain, the Vogue, the race management, the race headquarters, the bar. So here's an air visit, an aerial visit, sorry. Keep the date in mind, the 17th of October for the opening. Behind the race headquarters, there's a press media area and the hosting area as well for conferences. There's also the tourism pavilion and the boats, as you can see. The positions of the boats in the harbour in the marina has been established, and there are a fair number of people who are going to have to brush up their English because there are a rather large number of overseas international competitors too. So Yves, you represent your town, so the area and the race. Yes, as I said earlier, we've been working on the project, of course, for a long time now. And with the pandemic situation, we have to think of various other factors too, taking into account collaborations and working together with the prefect of the region, of course. So in this edition, we are adopting a health protocol which is currently being finalized so that the maximum number of people, the largest number of people can visit the village in as I'm speaking to you now, the mask will be compulsory. That's no surprise to anybody. All of the social distancing requirements will be compulsory. 5,000 people in the village at one time, with the management of the flow of number of people as they visit the village. There will be a route to follow that has to be respected in the closed areas of the village. That will be finalized and communicated in the next few days. The Interministerial Crisis Center is collaborating, obviously, to make sure things do occur as they should. The idea is, of course, that people are protected and their immediate family and people with them, everyone who's present in the village. So, over the website and the PCR tests, before the media arrive, for the media, before they come to the village. So the village will be remaining after the start. Yes, we decided to do it this way. I had to sort of insist so that the the race headquarters would remain in Les Sables d'Olonne. And it means that we do, in fact, retain we will keep up a certain amount of a small part of the village also. So a certain number of things will be possible around and in relation with the race headquarters. This morning, I'd like to announce also a partnership with the Yacht Club of France, who will be offering a press space in Paris for the media if necessary. If the health context actually prevents you from traveling to Les Sables d'Olonne. At the time I'm speaking, this is in the process of being confirmed, set up. We'll have further information in the next few days. So, the Vendee Globe 2020-21 has an approach that is eco-friendly and has a duty of making people aware of various ecology matters, and of course particularly directed towards young people. There's a junior kit that you will see on the screen. It will be available online, a digital tool for young people, not having a sort of physical kit anymore, not this year. There you are, you can see the examples of activities. You can create files, there are various activities. The Vendee Globe is a partner also of science, partner to science. Why a scientific partnership? Well, the Vendee Globe and UNESCO have joined forces, which will be expressed as follows. Here is UNESCO's reply.
Qui s'occupe de tous les problèmes de la mer, de la surface jusqu'au sol. Et il y a une autre agence qui s'appelle l'Organisation météorologique mondiale, OMM, qui s'occupe de l'atmosphère, de toute la partie, on va dire, météo. Et les deux ensemble gèrent le problème qu'on peut rencontrer au niveau de l'observation de l'océan. Il y a 10 ans, en gros, on n'aurait pas pu imaginer que quelqu'un qui fait le Vendee Globe va accepter qu'on lui donne 20 kilos, voire peut-être en total 40 kilos supplémentaires. Et les navigateurs, aujourd'hui, ils sont prêts à faire ça parce qu'eux, ils ont compris ça. C'est eux qui font le tour du monde, qui ont vu le changement de l'océan en premier rang. Il y a environ 30 pays qui contribuent En France, c'est Météo France et Ifremer, par exemple, qui donnent des instruments. Tous ces instruments ensemble, il y a environ 8 000 jusqu'à 10 000 de fois en mer, ils forment ces systèmes. Il y a le parcours du Vendee Globe qui est très intéressant parce qu'il transite dans ces zones où il n'y a pas d'autres navires. Et avec un tel instrument, c'est un flotteur Argo. Le flotteur, on le déploie, il va plonger à 1000, plus tard à 2000 mètres pendant 10 jours. Il revient en surface, il envoie ses données et il continue sa vie, il va replonger. Et tout ça pendant 5 ans en autonomie. L'autre moyen, c'est d'installer directement un instrument à bord du navire. C'est des petits boîtiers très innovants qui vont pomper de l'eau de mer à l'intérieur. Ils vont analyser l'eau de mer. Et il y a aussi des capteurs atmosphériques à bord. Donc là, on a l'intégralité de ces paramètres qui sont envoyés en temps réel à terre, ils sont traités directement. Et pour comprendre le courant en surface, on a justement besoin de ces données-là. Et après, avec ces données-là, on peut estimer par exemple les phénomènes comme El Niño, donc il y a un impact directement pour l'humanité.
L'impact pour l'humanité et le
So the impact for humanity in the run-up to the 8th of November, the start looks like it's going to be wholly memorable. 13:02 is the starting time. Here are some media information. Partnering up with Amaury Sport. After the start, the day after the start, you can take part in a daily broadcast in English that will be on offer, available. There are various rather extensive digital provision this time. You can download a whole load of information already on the website, the application as well. You can take a real dive into what the Vendee Globe involves. There's a glossary as well. Information about the type of boat and the partners as well. The virtual reality application, and for this time, the application is the foils. The partnership is new this year. The Équipe this time is joining forces with the Vendee Globe, and from the 17th of October, the day the village opens, we'll be distributing a limited series, limited edition of the race. Limited edition publication of the race.
Lors de la dernière édition, à se ruer sur la plateforme Virtual Regatta, plus que
hundreds and hundreds of different countries, people from 200 different countries will be joining the virtual regatta competition. Real-time weather. You'll be able to create your own team and a scoreboard. There will be a scoreboard. A large number of people expected. So there you are for virtual regatta. It will be modelized in 3D. The virtual prologue will get underway at 3:02 on the 26th of September. There you are for the digital virtual regatta. So now we can talk about sport, real sport. I invite onto the stage now the race director. Your screens, for those who are following us at a distance, on social networks, Jacques Carrez, respecting the social distancing provisions, of course. So, a whole series of records for this edition, 33 boats taking part, extremely high level competitors this time. Yes, of course, in sporting terms, but also in technological terms, there are now 19 foilers taking part, which is a very obvious progression that was going to be in place for this edition. A few years ago, in the last edition, we were at the stage of wondering whether a foiler would actually win the race. But since that time, we'd like to really congratulate and thank the architects and various technical teams that have really pushed forward on this particular technological feature. The boats are ready, the skippers are ready, and the race has really moved up a notch, moved up a level. Well, naturally this time, of course, that women should be taking part. Take part is just perfectly natural. There were in previous editions too. Made it to the podium in the events last week in Lorient. The strategy, endurance, anyone can. It doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman to have those qualities. Of the 33 skippers lining up on the start, those who are taking part for the first time, the rookies, Alexia Barrière from Nice and her boat, For My Planet. 15th in the Route du Rhum in 2008 on the same boat, which belonged to Catherine Chabot at the time. Can you respect the markings on the ground, please? So this time, another rookie, Manuel Cousin, taking part, 53 years old, 22nd finisher in the last Route du Rhum. Come along and line up alongside Alexia. Clarisse Kremer. She'll be at the helm of Banque Populaire. Last week she was 6th in the Transat Jacques Fabre and a whole host of other fine places. This time Charlie Dalin, who won last year the Transat Jacques Fabre on his brand new boat, a foiler. And now Benjamin Dutreux from the Vendée region himself. He'll be explaining what led him to taking part this time. Kevin Escoffier, again, who is at the helm of PRB, won the ocean race, a crude race with stopovers. This time Clément Giraud had one or two unfortunate events happened. His boat caught fire. So, well, positive attitude. And so here he is today with a new partner. Damien Seguin, skipper of the boat Apicile, a boat upon which the boat En Solitaire was made. And he will be talking to us about Paralympic participations. This time, now Sébastien Simon, placed 8th in the Transat Jacques Fabre, has also taken part in the Solitaire du Figaro. Now Maxime Sorel. He's from he's a lot of experience in a different class of boat and first participation in the Vendee Globe. So now to Armel Tripon on his boat L'Occitane, He won the Route du Rhum on a multi-50-footer. And the last of the rookies to line up, Nicolas Troussel, a Frenchman. He'll be talking to us about his boat, Coram. Yes, there are people waiting for information, and on the social networks. The conference is being followed avidly over the social networks. So, Damien Seguin, we said earlier on that you're a Paralympic champion in 2004, and today you're on the lineup for the start of the Vendee Globe. You've come a long way. Yeah, we've pulled both ends of the boat to make it bigger. Not the same type of machine at all on which I sailed before in Paralympic boats, a Paralympic category. I've done a whole load of different things in my sailing career. Yeah, so now I'm kind of been accepted into the ocean racing category, and I think I've won my place among those who are able to take part in this race. 5 years ago, you were, Alexia Barrier, working in Paris. Well, yes, nothing really predestined me to take part in the Vendee Globe. I wanted to do the mini transat race to start with, on a 6-meter-50 boat. And I just discovered an absolute obsessional love for sailing. I've been very lucky. Yeah, I mean, you're a long way away from now, from luxury, market of luxury products. Yes, well, I learned an awful lot very quickly on this boat, and I learned a lot about myself as well. It's very lucky to be able to use the machine that I now have. I have to fly on my own now, so this time, Clarisse Kremer changed your life 5 years ago, and here you are now at the Vendee Globe. So yes, another rookie who has in fact changed his life very much. Yes, I left my job in 2017 to professional conversion, this time as a professional skipper. An absolute pleasure to sail on such a fantastic boat. Here you are on the screen with Charlie Dalin, who is next to you. So, Charlie Dalin, were you programmed for racing around the world and taking part in the Vendee Globe? Well, another rookie. Yes, I've been wanting to take part in this race for a very long time now. Single-handed ocean racing is what I prefer. In sailing, I really like being alone on my boat, and the longer the race is, the better it is. Although I've never done more than 20 days single-handed. So yeah, I've been really thinking, I had this on my mind for a long, long time. And I can't wait to start on the 8th of November. Next to Charlie is Kevin Escoffier. So you have a common point, something in common with Vincent, with your previous guy next to you. Yes, so Vincent Rio handed you the helm of his boat in a way. So how is he on a day-to-day basis when it comes to working? Yeah, well, we do spend a lot of time in Port-la-Forêt, in the Finnish region of Brittany. It's the best way to organize things. We share the facility with a fair number of other people, including Sebastian. Jules Verne, the Volvo race. Sailing single-handed, does it change a lot to you? Well, it doesn't change the boat, it doesn't change the person on board, but you, of course, have to change the way you go about things. After the Jacques Vabre, I came back solo from Brazil to roll in a few miles. I've been lucky enough to know some of the, to know the way, in a way. So yes, we all have our strong and weak points. So Sébastien Simon, on a daily basis with Vincent Rieu. So here you are with Paprec. Are you confident? Has the confidence come back now? Yes, well, this last year wasn't easy. I'm, of course, very conscious, aware of the fact that I'm extremely lucky to have a boat of the latest generation with its foils, with her foils. It's a real dream for me, and I just can't wait to cross the starting line. Yes, I'm from the Sables d'Olonne. I live opposite the Vendee Globe pontoon. Always evoked a great amount of emotion in me, and it's kind of pushed me to wanting to take part. Now we have Benjamin Dutreux, another competitor from the Vendée region. You're on the starting line this time. Yes. Yeah, well, it's been a bit tough from time to time, and time leading up to today. It's the same with, we share that with, every team has that, of course. The Vendee Globe is such a strong emotion leading up to the start and on the start. The extra wish to be satisfied by actually taking part. Clément Giraud, you're on the starting line. You lost your one boat, and you actually managed to find another one and new partners to go with it. Yes, we've had rather a complicated year, should I say, and I'm extremely pleased to be here. It's a wonderful present, really, to be there, to be here today, for all of the team, a great reward. We work with Maître Coq in La Rochelle a lot of the time, and we can't wait to be on the start. Yes, I sailed on the boat of Eric Nibou, who lent me his boat to take part in the Vendee Globe and has joined the team. I'm not sure we've ever seen that. The generosity and solidarity manifested in that particular way. It's absolutely incredible, the support we've had. And it's his, make the most of this moment, seize the moment to actually thank everybody who's made it possible. Now on to another Mediterranean competitor. Alexia Barrier, with For My Planet. What is behind this slogan? A title partner. We've been working with them on with a very reduced Figaro type budget, and this time this is sailing under the name of Fly For My Planet, which is an NGO I created, I set up. It's recycling, concentrates really on recycling, so now 7 round-the-world trips, competitions, sails, and a large number of transatlantic crossings too. She's from the Alpes-Maritimes region, and now we can talk to Armel Tripon on l'Occitane. Is the boat the way you wanted it to be? Yes, we sailed a couple of races, 48 hours race. We've got still got to sail quite a bit to optimize some of the features. Your foils enable you to fly, but perhaps not as high as some of the other boats. Like a multi-hull, there's a lot of power behind this type of technology, and you have to be able to master it and control it. Handing a disinfected microphone to... The boat now, Corum. The boat is fine. We put it back in the water at the end of last week. We sailed for the first time again last night. As with everybody here, I think we can't wait to get back to our boats and get as much sailing done as we can to finalize the preparations before the standby in Les Sables d'Olonne. So have you sailed less than other boats? Yes, we have. Have you sailed less than other boats? Yes, we have sailed quite a bit nonetheless. We've done what we have been able to do with the various things that happened and so on. We don't control all of the elements, so the architect and designer and so on have been sailed on the boat, and it's very reassuring to have them to hand. So, Olivier Sorel, Maxime Sorel, pardon. Is this quite different to what you've been used to sailing on then? Well, indeed, yes, very demanding boats to sail. They're hard to master and control. Not just on the water, actually, ashore too. It needs a larger team, logistics that really have to be handled as well. You're 33 years old, you come from Saint-Malo, and you have memories of the Route de Rome. Why the fascination for the Vendee Globe? It's always made me, always dreamed about it. Dreamed about sailing around the world single-handed, non-stop, without any assistance is a crazy challenge. It's an ideal opportunity to express this challenge and to return the support that has made it possible. The people supporting me have made it possible. So here's the lineup of the rookies, those taking part for the first time. Nicolas Troussel can lead the rookies off the stage. If you could kindly applaud them. These are the 12 French rookies among the fleet of 33 sailors taking part. Now to another group, this time are international rookies, non-French rookies, therefore. Pip Hare, you'll see her at the screen, on the screen later. And she can hear you, can applaud her, because she'll be hearing her later on, and she can hear you now. Boris Herman, he too will be in contact with us via the Yacht Club of Monaco, his boat. Harry Hussela will be on stage in a minute now. Isabelle Joske, Franco-German nationality, and her boat MACSF coming down now, followed by Miranda Merrin, 23rd in the Transat Jacques Vabre from Normandy, 13 in the Route du Rhum in 2018 in the class 40. Another we will be applauding, Giancarlo Pedotti, one of a number of Italians to have taken part. So, here is the lineup of the rookies from other countries in France.
En anglais, on va vous tendre le micro. You come from Finland. Vous êtes finlandais. You are an airline pilot. Vous êtes pilote de ligne. Expliquez-nous, a priori, c'est éloigné du Vendée Globe. It's far from the Vendée Globe.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
I will ask you again the question. You come from Finland.
Yes.
You are an aircraft pilot. It's far from Vendée Globe. Why, when you are from Finland, you want to make the race? You want to make the Vendée Globe?
It's been a long time dream. Since '99, when I started from Minitrans, I read about and I saw boats, IMOCA boats, and Vendee Globe, and since then I've been going forward for that step by step, and now I'm here.
Step by step, parce que vous avez commencé par la Mini Transat et c'est justement à la fin des années 90, en venant chercher votre bateau, que vous avez fait connaissance avec les Sables d'Olonne, c'est ce que vous nous dites, avec un bateau qui connaît la route parce que c'est l'ancien Aviva de Di Cafari. Voilà le bateau avec lequel Harry Oussola.
Sables d'Olonne to sail this time. So from Finland, he will be taking the start of this Vendée Globe. Boris Herman, who we have from your garden, coming to us from his garden. Sea Explorer Yacht Club de Monaco, the first German skipper to take part in the Vendée Globe. So where did your... Do you think that you might inspire other young Germans to take part? Yes, of course. It's a big honor to be taking part in your extraordinary race. I've been wishing this for a long time. I've been following the Vendée Globe for the past 20 years. And who knows, it may inspire other people to take part in the race. You have a large community who are following you and supporting you. Yes, we want to take part in the Vendée Globe for the competitive element, but also for other reasons too. We're tracing oceanographic data, and we'll be having various laboratory-type elements on board to make ourselves useful for science as we actually take part and sail around the planet. Boris Herman will let you finish, complete the vendage in the German wine region. So Isabelle Joske, you are really, really fired up, really stoked for this event. Yeah, Vendée Globe is a long course. It's not easy. MACSF, we've had ups and downs, and we're finishing on an up, as it were. Well, we've actually said to ourselves, well, yes, we can succeed as well. We're really ready. Address myself to the women who are taking part. Last time there were none, this time there are 6. It's a long haul, but 6 female participants is a really good score. But then again, it's only 6 of us out of 33 taking part. You too may inspire other people to take part. Indeed, this is what the association, which is all about mixed participation, female and male participation in sailing. What we really want to show is that women can sail just as well as men. So this edition, 2020-21, so applaud your contribution and your participation. this time, Gianfranco Godot, with a real performance project this time. Yes, it's the aim. Prismian Group has been alongside and at our sides for the past 13 years, and as time has gone on, step by step, we've managed to make it to the lineup at the start of the Vendee Globe. This is a very important day for me to be with you. We've actually gone beyond what it's a real giant step for us. And thank you to all the support of the employees and staff of the Prismian Group and the No Doctors Without Borders, who are also supporting us, and we're returning the favor. It seems some very basic things are not available in some countries, such as water, and so we really want this to be something that one of the values we carry. You have studied philosophy. Does that play a role in your reflection on the race? Yes, I think there's a lot of moments when, of course, you'll be alone, and I think it's inevitable that at more than one occasion during the race, I will be really looking into my deeper self to rely on that and those resources to go to the essential and the essence of what this race is about, from a human point of view. Giancarlo Pedotti, thank you very much from Italy. So the press conference of the Vendee Globe is now heading over to Great Britain. Pip Hare. It's a rather strange moment, rather unusual times.
After the travel restrictions and the coronavirus pandemic, you said that you were more inspiring.
Yeah, I think that because there has been such a difficulty, we've lost many international sporting events this year. People are looking to other sports to spectate, and they're taking an interest in other sports. And we as athletes have been very fortunate because our event has carried on, and I think this is a great opportunity for us to share with the rest of the world what a fantastic and involved and interesting sport we compete in.
Une chance, vous dites, pour tous ceux qui vous suivent, ceux qui ont été privés, avez-vous dit, de grands événements cette année?
So, like you said, people have been deprived of major events in this pandemic conditions. Can you?
I love it.
Elle aime son bateau, Super Bigou, c'est l'ancien bateau.
Calls her boat Super Bigou. It's the previous boat, the boat that previously belonged to Bernard Stam. Now moving over to another British competitor, Miranda Merrin. So, over the last few weeks, the Vendee Globe wasn't the greatest challenge of your sailing life, but of a life all in all. Well, sailing around the world on your own is a long task. It's an enormous challenge. Not many people have actually taken part. And as I'm a sailor, I've never gone that far. On my own, I'm really hoping to make it round. Do you have any apprehension? Well, I know the Southern Ocean. I don't know if it's an asset or an impediment, but like everything, you have to set the bad moments aside and concentrate and focus on the good moments. We're a little bit spoilt when you're sailing alone in a way, as the world is reduced to the simple size of the boat, and then the sea and the sky, basically. And the people that I will miss for 3 months. Let's applaud her. And here we have the rookies taking part for the first time, therefore, who are have a nationality other than French. Jacques Arès, race director. So, like we said, women taking part this time. Sailors really in the starting blocks to get out to sail as best they can after having been deprived of their sport. Yes, well, seeing people wearing their masks and so on, and let's hope that we will be able to get to know them as they do what they've come to do here. So this group of sailors are those who have already taken part, already finished. So once again, with Palais Brognard at your screen, we have Fabrice Amédéo. So, the skipper of the Art and Les Fenêtres, as he comes onto the stage smiling, so if you can stand on the marks that have been placed on the stage. Romain Attanasio, he too has made it round in the Vendee Globe, finishing 15th in the Route du Rhum. In the meantime, Yannick Bestaven, skipper of Maître Coq, a comeback for this sailor. He'll be telling us about that. 2015, he took part in the Transat Jacques Fabre. Didac Costa, this time on One Planet, One Ocean, who's back to take part again, taking part without stopping, without any assistance. Welcome. Sébastien Destremaux, this is the name you have on the screen and that you can see on his screen on his boat. Merci. Stéphane Ladiraison. He dismasted. Maybe we shouldn't remind of bad experiences. Stéphane Ladiraison. And now Alain Roura, who was the youngest participant 4 years ago, and he is now at the helm of La Fabrique, finished 12th last time, and in the meantime has established a record of the single-handed transatlantic record. Thomas Ruyant, Advance Linked Out, who will be talking to us about his boat, a fast boat that worries one or two of the fellow competitors. This time, Shoujo Tirachi, who'll be on the stage with his interpreter. So back to Yannick Bestaven. I talked about comeback a short while ago. Last time you took part in the 2018-2019, but in spite of the misadventure, you actually had something rather pleasant happen nevertheless. Yes, my second daughter was born. Yeah, the dismasting was a rather sad memory of the race, and it's taken a fair amount of time to get back into fighting form on Maître Coq. Well, you've not been doing nothing. You've been working, you have hydrogenerators, and your sporting project today, which is, does it suit you? Is it one that you really, yes, it really fits me. It's the first one to be fitted with foils. and it was one of the first boats to be fitted with foils, and now has been really significantly improved since the last Vendee Globe. Thomas Ruyant, be giving you. No, we'll be taking another microphone for you. Social distancing, disinfected microphones, and so on. Do you think you're actually a cause to worry other people, other competitors? Well, probably yes. I've got a great machine. I've been prepared with a dream team and a great sponsor. So I think really this time I really want to match the level of those who have worked on the project. So now you've passed from advanced to linked out. It's a crazy gesture of the company advanced to use the linked out. We're hoping that the people who are part of this will be, who are part of the linked out association, will actually have found a job by the time the race is finished. Thomas Ruyant, thank you very much. Last time you did not finish. So you had to retire the other, in another side of the planet. This time, Kojiro comes back with a brand new boat. What's the aim this time round? Wanting to sail with Jeremy Bayou, who's got a sister ship.
Oui, c'est la première fois que j'ai un bateau.
Yes, it's the first time I have a boat like this.
Le but, c'est vraiment
The aim is to
naviguer avec et
sail with her
et de finir la course.
and to finish the race. What did you learn from the last participation?
最初のバンドグローバーのスタートは本当に感動しました。で、この仲間に入れてとっても光栄で、次はぜひね。フィニッシュ。今度フィニッシュの感動を味わいたいかな。
Yes, 4 years ago, what I've learned from that was the moment of what I remember is the start. It was an absolutely extraordinary moment. Taking part and being part of the sailing community, the offshore racing community, ocean racing community. Really, I'm determined to finish this time. Thank you, both of you. Applaud Japanese participation, Kojiro. And there are others who are Vendee Raison. You had a sort of impression, the feeling last time that the dream was in fact broken in a way. Well, yes, but we learned a lot. Forces you to adopt rather a position of humility. It's a very strong experience for a sailor. As I said before, I learned an awful lot, thanks to the partners Brig and others. So we're now able to continue the adventure. The only thing that the boat has significantly changed, pretty much just the same hull, but the rest is foils, the rudders and so on. It's really, really evolved a great deal. She's really evolved a great deal. Chocarez. There are 8 new boats with foils. There are old generation boats that have had foils fitted. Yes, there are. It's an incredible step. A step that's been. The level has really changed significantly this time round with the foils, the extent and the sophistication. But of course we need to work on reliability. We'll see how it works out this time, how that pans out this time. So, Vendee Raison, you have, remember your smile from last time? How's the Vendee Globe being different this time? Hello to everybody. Well, taking part a second time is in fact a great privilege. I'm very happy to be back. The first Vendee Globe was really had an awful lot of great amount of enthusiasm. This time round, the boat isn't brand new, but it's a fairly recent boat nonetheless. Should be able to do a good race around the planet, and perhaps even hope to finish at a decent position on the scoreboard. Well, the experience from a few years ago is never too far away in my mind. No, I don't have any beacons in my scientific beacons on board. I'm not taking part in that element. But we have other features that are working along with the scientific team, looking at carbon dioxide and plastic on the sea. So it's an oceanographic project as well. 4 years ago, there was Alain Rourin also was taking part, as he is this time. But you have changed, Alain. How have you changed? How is the 2020 version of you is different? Well, I think Jacques Hayes could probably say more about it. We had a very old boat last time that is taking part this time round as well. But we didn't have an extraordinary budget last time. But with La Fabrique this time, we've been able to buy a boat that she's from 2007. And like Stéphane, we've really made significant changes. We've learnt a lot, the whole team, and we're hoping even to finish in a good place. The idea is what we're really hoping to do is to race against, sort of race in a race against Fabrice. Fabrice Amadeo is smiling in reaction. So the uniform and the costume that you will wear to start. Well, it wasn't a costume actually. It wasn't. It was just a childhood dream actually. Last time, when I was a child, we travelled a lot, sailed a lot around the world. And in New Zealand, I found the particular costume, if you like, but and so it was a gesture, a reference, family reference, really. So let's hope you'll be making a great start this year too. 4 years ago, when you were sailing, yes, we're ready for the start. There are a few details to set straight. But in spite of the difficulties, we'll be ready and hope to make a good start this race. It's all really. It's a fantastic opportunity, of course, to be able to sail around the world in this competition. Can you remember the support that you had from the local population on the start last time? So Didac Costa. So the Vendee Globe, a famous quote, shit happens every day. That's a famous quote, and so Romain Athanasio, yeah, I think it's basically expect that, you know, shit will hit the fan pretty regularly on this type of event. Yeah, you know, it hit something, end up in South Africa, and I've had loads of difficulties, but, you know, you learn something from it every time, not just as a sailor, but also about the person you are, and you find new resources to actually overcome the difficulties you find yourself facing. Yeah, well, your wife is actually sort of taking part as well, actually, in supporting you, of course. Yes, of course. She'll be talking about it herself, but, you know. she'll be able to tell you herself. But yeah, so I was able to, with partners were in the, I would be taking part myself, and that she would be on Tanguy's old boat, previous boat. And so we just have to see how we sort of, accept the project. We'll both take part and we'll find out how we organize ourselves in the family. We'll just do it, you know. So he's Merci with the name of Sébastien Destremaux. Why this word? Why do you have the word merci on your sail? Well, I just wish to express gratitude quite simply, basically. Finished the last Vendee Globe with an extreme feeling of, a deep feeling of gratitude that it had been possible. The Vendee Globe is, for me at least, well, I had the impression that I was really privileged to have taken part. It's extremely difficult, of course, sure, you know, there's a lot of crap every day, we get hurt, but we're really lucky to be there, we're really happy to take part. Yeah, you know, it's really happy to say thank you to the people that turn up to see us leave and the finish. It's important to say thank you. So, congratulate and applaud the skippers who will be leaving. Sébastien leaving the stage now. Thank you, gentlemen. So those are the people taking part for the second time. But here are experienced sailors this time who've taken part a number of times, in fact. So here are the last group in alphabetical order. Jérémy Bayou is coming down the steps. He was the first to put his new boat in the water. He was third in the Vendee Globe in 2016, and he wants to do better this time. Arnaud Boissière on a foiler also. D'Artipol. 10th in the last Vendee Globe, and he'll be telling you why he's wanting to do better this time. Louis Burton on Bureau Vallée. Don't forget your mask. And Louis is followed by Samantha Davis on Initiative Cœur. Biggest amount of sail in the Vendee Globe. Jacques Fabre last year. Alex Thompson will be, he's sailing and we'll be speaking to him at a distance. Fifth participation, third, second place, and he wants to win this time. We'll be talking to him shortly. So, Louis Burton ou Jean Le Cam. Did we forget someone? No, of course not. Jean Le Cam. Fifth participation in the Vendee Globe. Sorry, King John, his nickname. Joining his fellow competitors on some of his fellow competitors on the stage. Louis Burton, therefore. Move forwards. Alex Thompson will be taking part, contributing later on. So, Louis, you're taking part on the boat that won the last edition. Does this give you a bit of pressure? Hello to everybody. No. No pressure, really, extra pressure from that. What does put the pressure on is the level of the lineup. A little bit of pressure too, because we're here physically. even if we're wearing a mask, of course. And considering the strength of the organization that have been working so hard and in a determined way so that the Vendee Globe could take part in spite of the current restrictions, and their determination is the pressure that, well, we have to live up to, really. Thank you to the sponsors, thank you to the organizers, thank you to Bureau Vallée, my sponsor. It's my third time taking part. Jean, Sam, Jérémy, Arnaud are legends, and I'm extremely proud to be in this last group. Maybe be a better position this time round. So, Alex Thompson, can you hear us inside your boat? Hugo Boss, 50, 60 miles south of the English coast, off the English coast.
First place and 67 days, la première place en 67 jours.
So the first place in 67 days, less than 67 days this time round.
Petit décalage avec l'Iridium, mais gros décalage. Donc on va peut-être reposer la question à Alex Thompson. Alex, vous voulez être premier.
Alex, you want to win, and this time in 67 days.
Alex Thompson, que l'on retrouvera peut-être plus tard.
We might find Alex, try and reconnect with Alex at a later stage. So he's sailing, he's training, he's in his absolute latest generation boat. Arnaud Boissière, your third participation in the race this time. What's your aim this time? Thank you very much. So it's my fourth participation. I finished 3, but it's my fourth participation, which doesn't make any difference. Yes, it is. Well, of course, it's a great privilege to be lining up on the start. So I had the same Michaeline partner 4 years ago, and they've enabled me to be ready this time for the 8th of November for this edition. It's extremely important, particularly at this moment in time. What I want to do this time is supposed to be to get a better result than last time. I took 81 days. Was Mike Golding's old boat. Took it in 85 days, would already be pretty good. Particularly, it would be a sort of pleasure, give pleasure to Yves Vigné, 85 being the department number of the Vendée. No, the main thing, of course, is to share the project with the partners and with groups, with schools. I've adopted the Vendée region and live in the Sables d'Olonne. So really pleased to have partners who are close to us, and there's no such thing as a small project, in fact, when you take on something like the Vendee Globe. You have to be flat out all the time. It's you have to go for it. It's all or nothing, really. You have to qualify, you have to train, you have to work, and you need your partners, your team. Jean Le Cam is probably going to talk about that sort of thing as well, probably be a bit more chatty about it than I am. Fourth participation, therefore, for Arnaud Boissière. For Michaeline Artipol. Sam Davis, you're talking about the length of your foils. Is this a good choice? And here's a nice disinfected microphone.
Oui, je pense que c'est le bon choix.
I think I've made the right choice.
J'ai bien gagné en vitesse avec le bateau.
I've gained a lot of speed this year anyway.
J'ai la chance de pouvoir faire ça. Et
I'm lucky enough to do this, and thanks to the work of the team who have worked hard to Jeremy's former boat actually, so I'm very proud to be at the helm of this particular boat. It's a project which is both a performance project and with very sort of an approach supported by solidarity and so on. So a serious sporting objective this time. You may have heard a certain Romain Athanasiou earlier on. Oh, I didn't hear what he said earlier on, actually. No, what he said was that when you're talking about both taking part in the Vendee Globe at the same time, it's not necessarily an easy thing to do. Well, it's not easy, but we have this dream in common, and we've done 3 editions of the Vendee Globe. It's always been a shared event anyway, whichever of us was at sea when the other's still taking part ashore. But it's a dream that we both have to take part, and it happened that we're lucky enough to do it this time, at the same time. So once when he went, I was really jealous, I was really frustrated, and so yeah, we're really pleased and we're very lucky to be taking part. It'll all be everything will go well. Yeah, well, there's a certain amount of logistics that has to be put in place for the fact that both of us will be taking part. So, thank you very much, Sam Davies, and here we are now, Jean Le Cam, lining up for his 5th participation, that you have continued to work on and improve up to 12 hours a day. You have to make the best of what you have, what you've got. Experience shows that to be the case. I'll be sailing my third. It's the 3rd time I'll be sailing this boat around the world. At least perhaps I hope to go a little bit faster, do a better time than we did in the last edition. We'll see. I've seen you on your sort of gimmick, clack, 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 on the last edition. It has been said of you that you turn landlubbers into mariners when you take part because of the way that you communicate and share what you go through and the living. Yeah, well, some people sail because they prefer to be on the water. Some people do both. Some people prefer being on land. The main thing is just to kind of do what you enjoy doing. We have a rather sort of particular, specific project. We reckon that with the team that the Yes We Can as a motto is a pretty good thing to live by, and yeah, we're ready, fired up. And let's hope we'll do something that's not too bad this time around. We'll see later on. Let's applaud Jean Le Cam, Yes We Can, 5th participation. Eric Orsena. You can exchange with him on your website. Jérémy Veillouf. While others are still working on their new boats, you're fine-tuning your older boat. Well, yes, but we're working on it all the time too. We've been preparing Charles and the team for the past 3 years. Each individual, men or women taking part in the project. I really can't wait to continue to share that with the team and get the machine sailing around the world. Any nightmarish thoughts or memories coming back of the doldrums in the middle of the night? Well, I know plenty of surprises are certainly going to be lined up for us too. this time. Pretty good position to know. But whenever you do this type of race, of course, it's going to be difficult. And yeah, I'm aware of the dangers and the difficulties. Let's applaud Jérémy. A surprise for all of you. We've got an old friend who's going to speak to us. So maybe, do we have a connection with Alex Thompson?
Alex, first place, 67 days. On aura essayé, mais on l'applaudit quand même, Alex Thompson.
Well, we'll have tried at least. Let's applaud him anyway. So there you are, the repeat offenders, as it were, taking part for second or more times, more than twice already. So let's applaud them as they leave the stage. Multiple participations in the Vendee Globe in all members of that group. So there you are, the countdown can start, really. Ivo Vendée, you followed everything. You listened attentively to what the sailors had to say, with the exception of Alex Thompson, still. I'd like to thank them all for their participations, their contributions, and thank them for the commitment, and also congratulate them for the sporting commitment, but for some of them who are really going way beyond what might be expected in a humanistic point of view. I'd like to thank all of those who support us, the various companies, with the press conference, which is a little bit complicated with the current conditions. Everything's fine. To finish off, I would like to say to come to the Vendee Globe village as from the 17th of October, so that each and every one of you can come and share, so that we can celebrate the event in spite of the current health restrictions. I'd be extremely happy to welcome anyone who wishes to come along to the start on the 8th of November in Les Sables d'Olonne. Thank you all. Thank you, Ivo Vendée. It's very symbolic to have a few words from Alex Thompson from his boat, mixed with the words of Ivo Vendée at the end. Thank you to those who are present physically today in Paris, and to all of those following the press conference via the social networks. Thank you to the media, and we hope that you have all noted the date of the opening of the village at 17th of October and preparing for the start on the 8th of November at 2 minutes past 1 in the afternoon.